On a Thursday training camp edition of Cleveland Browns Daily Practice at 2 o'clock. Gates open at 1 o'clock. There are thousands, it feels like, outside of this fine facility ready to come in and take in this practice. It is overcast, but I think we're okay, Gibbe.
We're okay. However, it is humid. And it is I feel like we are in a sweat box currently.
Look, this is the you
Spilling
take the
water
cover.
everywhere.
You take the cover, right? The cover is a win, right?
Yeah.
You're out of the sun, you get the cover. That's a win. The loss is no breeze.
None.
So we are in what amounts to a sweat lodge.
I will see what I can do about maybe dropping the back.
Look at the kid. Look at him jogging down.
Idiot.
He's got a jog.
We have a show at 1 o'clock.
Where was he? Where is he?
I got to be in the production meeting.
For what? What production meeting?
For Saturday's game for TV.
Oh, please.
He's
pulling a Tony Romo?
Oh, yeah. I have a production meeting.
Oh,
I couldn't do the 14 interviews we had to do today because I was in a production meeting.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
This is for a production meeting?
Uh-huh.
For Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's a preseason.
Oh, boy. We're going to need him on a headset right away. This was for a production meeting? You are now Tony Romo sucking down a peach? Is this what happened?
I had a plum.
Oh, I love a plum.
Oh, it was a ripe plum. It was a good. Look at
what
this.
What hue was the plum?
Oh, it was a
purplish blue hue.
Yeah, it was yeah.
Did you make people watch what was consecrated here? How about these?
About it? Well, how about it?
How about it?
I guess I don't look bald in a fun further review.
You look great. I don't know how these happened. We have these lovely cups, Cleveland Browns Daily.
Shout out to the ESPN Cleveland marketing team. They're the ones who put these together.
Tell you what, ESPN Cleveland marketing team, I'd love a sleeve.
I'd love a set of them.
That'd be nice.
A whole set.
Wouldn't it be fun? Have people over?
Yeah.
And then
pull it right out. Yeah. Hell yeah, you'd like a cocktail? Here you go.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah,
a little outdoor cocktail. Enjoy yourself. There you go.
Those
are gorgeous. They look great.
It's a solid facsimile of my
How close is it to your signature?
Is it going to be late like you are?
How can I be late when I'm also working?
Time out. I'm in a production meeting. You know what time the show is.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, I've got to step away.
I did. I'm not interrupting our coach.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Coach understands.
The plot
We're going to
thickens.
tape with Coach a little later on. You're going to get plenty of time with Coach.
The plot thickens. Now Coach was in the production meeting.
He's the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
He came on at 12:30.
Yeah.
By 12:55, you can go, hey, Coach, I got to roll. I'll talk to you after
I'm here now.
You're here now.
You're late.
Listen, you two. You just spent too much time together at the Greenbrier.
Go straight
We've
to
been
hell.
getting this is
a common
projection.
area.
There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Projection.
This is projection of a lot of stress that's being caused to him unjustly, and I feel like Gibbe is under.
Oh, so he's coming to your side.
Pulled in many different directions.
Yeah.
And there's this game. It feels like in some ways has snuck up on people.
Oh, they didn't know it was coming. It wasn't on this. It's a breaking game.
You would be correct on that.
So I
used to have this.
If I need to be your human punching bag, if that's going to make you feel better, I'm here for it for your mental health. That's the kind of friend I am.
I used to have this.
Little pity.
I used to do this when I was in the television sports, and if somebody missed the start of a football game or something. Oh, the opening kickoff. I didn't get there in time. They returned it for a kick, and it was like a high school Friday night. And I'd say, well, listen, the game was at 7. It's on the schedule.
It's on the schedule.
CBD's on the schedule every day.
It's on the schedule. So it can't sneak up on you. I wasn't going that way. I was going in the way of the
Boy,
preseason game on
no. I
Saturday.
knew right away where you were taking it. I'm like, let's go.
Let's derail it this way.
Yes, he's shifting it back to his
agenda. Boy. So we've got practice out here at 2 o'clock. Coach is going to talk at 1.
But no, he's
what
excited.
Was the golf? When you were on the golf?
But no, he's
what
excited.
Was the golf? When you were on the golf course with him, what did he sing?
I hit a bomb. Right, Tony Brown calls him over, says, "Why you got to watch this guy hit a golf ball?" So I'm like, "Okay." I pump one, and he just walks over and looks at me and goes, "If you can do anything, I can do it better." That's all I said. And I, of course, responded, I can do anything better than you.
Would you have had anyone? Where would you have had Mike Vrabel, Jameis Winston? Common ground brothers.
Hold on.
I would not have.
I need you to answer that after a break. Unfortunately. Well, hold on.
Easy,
Kev, are we any better?
Easy.
Is it better?
Oh, boy.
We're having a little
We're having
We're
some
having a- we're having
Well,
a-
I'm hearing the
internet
internet's
issue.
not apparently. The show starts at one internet. What? Were you talking to the
I
coach
want to come.
earlier?
I want to come
Internet,
across
were
the
you
table.
talking to the
Easy,
coach?
easy.
I don't
I'm going to
think
come
so.
across the
Head
table.
honcho, tell me what you want us to do. Now we're good?
Are we
Yeah.
good, Kev, or are we still not great?
Kev,
I think we're good.
There we go. We're back.
We're back,
I'm
baby.
looking
We're
at the the stats. Okay, you can
got the
answer the
stats.
question.
My
I
pep
didn't.
talk was
I
actually
wanted to
very
save it
effective.
All right.
in
My pep
case
talk was effective.
things
I
went
don't know if
bad.
you noticed that.
Yeah. So kindred spirits, Vrabel, Winston.
Love ball.
Both, here's the common denominator. They both are having the time of their lives.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt. Vrabel is having so much fun working with the offense, working with the tight end room and Tommy Reese, and getting his hands on these tight ends, showing them how to block. And it's been really – and watching the joy he has racing Jameis.
Yeah.
The joy and by the way, beating Jameis. The joy that he has in special teams drills out there with Bubba Ventrone, who was a rookie with him in New England.
Yeah.
And so it's been, you
So cool.
love to see that. He has been able to handle anything and everything. I mean, Coach asked him to do things. Tommy Reese asked him to do things. AB is having him do things. The Haslams are having him. He's there for everybody.
It's a, this is a local kid, Walsh Jesuit. He's going into the Ring of Honor, the jersey retirement, the 8-4 being retired for the Warriors. And so he is somebody who, this is a childhood dream being lived out.
Yes.
And he's getting to run around here, and he doesn't really have any real responsibilities, which is awesome, and yet he's leaned upon for about 1 billion things, and he can help with all of it. So it's about as good as it gets. It's absurdly fortunate that you have it.
It's awesome. And I think everybody knows this is a one-year thing, and he'll be
Yes.
the head coach. By the way, we have some youthful drivers over there of that.
What is the
Of that
minimum
golf.
age golf cart driving? Like, unsupervised, because that was unsupervised golf cart driving.
Well, I'm talking about the other one where we know the young man driving that car. At least he had somebody in the car with him.
Yeah.
So that was good. I'd say 12.
Yeah. We haven't played golf in like 8 weeks, but in June when I was playing a little bit with the boys, NBC could.
So the
he
NBC
could
hasn't gotten to get out there. He beat you, and then that's it. That ended your golf
I beat
career?
him the last time we played right around the end of June. I've not been out since the end of June.
Oh man, sad.
Yeah, I got new sticks. They're waiting to get played. Haven't been able to hit the new sticks. Nothing. So
What'd you get?
Mizuno's.
That's right.
Yeah, I did the blind thing where I hit a bunch of irons.
Yeah,
And they just felt pure.
because they are. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I mean, mine are, I bet, close to 10 years old at this point.
And still, well, I've seen you. Yeah. The other thing. So then, as you're making the selection, as you know, certain of their clubs come with a bluish hue.
Oh, that's right.
And so when I saw these wedges with the, come on.
I have the wedges and the putter all in the blue.
I gotta find. I'm gonna have to get the putter, obviously.
got
At
it.
this
It's
point,
beautiful.
like I saw, I just said, like, I don't even know. I'll figure out how to hit it.
That's exactly what I said when I bought that putter.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, it's so beautiful. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll be able to putt with it.
I'm gonna putt with it. It's
Yeah.
just too good. It's too
It is
beautiful.
too good.
Um,
Although, by the way, I thought this was hilarious. At the Greenbrier, I talked about, I hit the ball great. I could not make a putt. Couldn't make a putt. Lipped out probably 10 putts over the course of 2 days for birdie. Just
yeah.
ones where even the pros like we knew it was in, and then
And
somehow it would be like spat out. So the biggest L of luminaries runs into me in the hall and goes, "How was your putting at the Greenbrier?"
Jeez. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, all right. That
Okay.
actually made me feel real good. I like that. If you're getting razzed up at those levels, it's a good thing.
That's
I'll
a
take
very,
it.
very good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
Yeah, but my putting, the talk of my putting woes had
Is it
had
the
made
biggest
rounds.
luminary rounds?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very good. So I watched Hard Knocks last night,
Ah,
and I watched it with Beamsy and Boots.
Mhm.
The Olympics I thought were boring.
last night? I
was
didn't watch
kinda-
last night.
Yeah, I was out of it. It just wasn't. They were kind of getting restless, and they're like, "Let's watch a movie." I'm like, "I don't want a movie. I don't need you guys staying up till 10." But I said, "What about Hard Knocks? Let's give it a shot." So we watched, and I can tell you that it doesn't feel like this season is getting a lot of buzz.
I
but
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the heck out of it, and I think if you have kids, it was very kid friendly.
So
I
is
don't think-
Receiver. You should watch Receiver with them because
Okay.
that's they'll get if they like Justin Jefferson doesn't
Yeah,
already.
Boots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Bootsy's,
that's
by the way, going to want to recreate. I'm warning you. Maybe you shouldn't do it. Justin Jefferson is a grown man with a full-on candy snack, like, pantry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Oh.
it's beautiful and
They just-
awesome, and it's just all candy and snacks. It's like Bootsy's paradise.
It's heaven. Yeah, it's heaven. It's
He's
all
going to
he
like him even more.
Okay. All right. Even more of a kindred spirit. So, anyway, watched it last night. Totally appropriate for them. It was great.
Yeah.
They loved it. They were not distracted. They were locked in.
Did they ask for Eagle underwear?
They thought that was hilarious. The
It
Eagle
was
underwear was
hilarious.
very funny. I came away. So you asked me to reserve judgment on Eberflus because what I asked you was what I was most curious about is why did they stick with him?
Uh-huh.
So having watched the first episode, I get it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me. He feels like a very fair, straightforward,
Good dude.
good dude.
Yes.
Good dude. I had no point of reference on him, but he just come across as someone who's just solid dude, tells it like it is. It's not. I think he seems like he's very honest to who he is, and he doesn't carry himself in a way. He's not a pretender. There's been plenty of coaches on Hard Knocks who will pretend that they're something that they're not.
So
There was none of that with him. He just felt very genuine.
agreed. Did you get what I was saying? And that it doesn't feel like he's a follow me to freedom guy.
No.
So he's got to be very good with his scheme. That's what he got the job for as a defensive coordinator with Indianapolis. That's how he made it to where he did. But I thought that was a very interesting kind of look at him, and there are many different ways to do it around the National Football League.
There are. I thought the Saban stuff was great, and
Yeah, Saban was really good.
I think Caleb Williams is incredibly likable.
Agreed, right?
Really likable. Like
Agreed.
I just was like, oh, this kid is.
And talented.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. So you watch this and you forget because they've been off the radar and they haven't won a lot, but you forget. Like all of a sudden I'm watching and Keenan Allen pops in. I'm like, oh yeah, they got him too. And Adunze is a dude, and DJ Moore and Swift and Komet and Caleb, like he is really set up to succeed.
What did you think of the DJ Moore extension scene?
So
I was amazed at just how nonchalant it
That's
was.
what
and
I
how
was
it
gonna
just
say.
like middle of practice, come up here, sign this, cool. Now you got $100 million,
Yeah.
sweet. And he goes back to practice, and they're like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah,
yeah,
I don't have to worry about that now.
So I kind of thought it felt staged for the cameras.
Fair.
That's kind of what I thought.
It just
Because
seems
seemed so like ordinary.
Yes.
And this is life-changing money. This is like the biggest
Yes.
contract, all of it.
Yeah.
And yet you it kind of came across as like, okay, is this what we have to do? Like I'm in the middle of practice, so I really have to come over here and sign?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, I'll sign and we'll go. It seemed nonchalant, and I thought there was a chance it was staged.
Fair. The nonchalantness of it seemed wild to me.
It did, yeah, considering all of it. But man, they're really talented. They're really talented, and the kid is really impressive. Like that, this is we didn't know CJ was in the position we were. I don't think any of us knew that Nico Collins was that good, or Tank Dell had that, or I don't know that we knew that.
CJ was also, you were gun shy to love a Buckeyes quarterback.
For sure. I
because
did. I
of
acknowledge that.
Haskins and Fields. Not you personally. I'm
No,
saying
no.
in we, the people.
I was not as bullish on CJ as I was Justin because of Justin.
And Haskins.
Yeah. The Haskin one, though, I do remember that you and I talking to someone who's made a decent living being someone who evaluates talent and drafts quarterbacks, and he, because we were like, what are we missing here? And I'll never forget him saying his windows are enormous at Ohio State, and that in terms of tough throws, he doesn't have to make that many.
Yep.
And that's something. I don't know what happened to Fields. I have no idea. I don't know if Nagy got him. I don't know what happened to him. I was just down there last week. I talked to people down there last week. They don't understand it, what happened, how he got in his own head. Like, he was not a thinker at Ohio State. He just reacted.
And he was rolling. I think it's also when you're
Like, just gets
success begets success. And I don't think it's unfair to say that the first game that they put him in may have hindered his career, and it was right here at Cleveland Browns Stadium. He was sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
They had no semblance of a plan or offense. Miles had 4.5 sacks at the Browns franchise record for a single game. And
that was
David
malfeasance.
Carr would have been a very good quarterback in the NFL. Tim Couch would have been a very good quarterback in the NFL had they been in other situations. And then they get shell-shocked, and then you develop bad habits, and then you start seeing things that aren't there. In Justin Fields' case, his instinct became, let me just run.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and then I'm like, run.
Yep.
And you can't play quarterback like that for a long period of time.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And that's the thing that's I guess that's the reality is the circumstance. I think the same thing will happen to Bryce Young just from this, and I think he's got physical stuff that makes that even harder. But I think all of those boxes check out. The only thing I will say about Caleb is I thought he was taller than 6'1". I swore they always listed him at USC as 6'3".
6'3", that's what I thought.
Yeah. But when they did the Ray Clay introduction and they said 6'1" out of Southern Cal.
What did you think of that?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So the whole reason they stopped, like that was pettiness. Why they stopped using him?
Why?
Yeah, that it was pettiness towards Reinsdorf with Jordan. He did something for Jordan or something, and so they stopped using him. Yeah.
By the way, and Chicago in the summer is a beautiful city. All the river shots they had with the team on there and the people on the bridge, that was very well done. Yeah, I think it's a good show. Your kids will love receiver for sure.
Okay.
That'll be a home run for them, and they'll love Kittle. They'll end up being big Kittle fans.
Yeah. All right, we'll check that out.
Yeah,
too.
you'll enjoy it. As if there isn't going to be enough football content coming your way shortly that you can dump into a whole nother football season.
Right.
By the way, kudos to Game of Thrones and for House of Dragons for understanding when to start and when to end a series that people are going to want to watch.
Exactly right.
Kudos. Well done.
Yep. Somebody said to me, "Well, why do you think people aren't watching Hard Knocks as much?" And I said, We're inundated with it. You have Hard Knocks in the season, Hard Knocks off season, Hard Knocks. It used to be this one thing that was special. You factor that and add to it the real truth of the matter is that all of these teams also produce this similar type of content.
It used to be a
So
window
unique.
into things that you had no other window into other than Hard Knocks, and now every team has their own window, all of it. So, yes, it takes away a little bit for it, but still, I mean, you got Liev Schreiber doing the voiceovers is electric. It's still great. It's great.
He is electric, and I like the crossing over the plane where they had Joe Buck talking about Liev Schreiber talking about all of those things were wins to say the least. In terms of what do you anticipate seeing here? Do you anticipate seeing some guys back? We had the Wednesday rest day.
So this will be a fast Friday, and this will be. My guess is, the starters are going to get work because probably a good chunk of them we haven't heard officially, and we'll probably get more insight from Kevin Stefanski soon. But we know Deshaun's not playing, so that probably tells you that, some of the principals are not going to be playing in this game. And I think this is their opportunity to get work, and you're going to get probably some stuff at the end for guys that are more likely to play in this game. But, yeah, this will be – typically Fridays are red zone, 2-minute drill. It's the situational football aspect that you're putting in for a game. Now, there will be no game planning. The Browns are not – this is going to be as vanilla gets.
Yeah.
We're going to line up, I would imagine, we're not going to show anything that's of the new look offense, or what that would look like. And I think you're going to probably see Jim Schwartz say, all right, let's find out who can play man.
Yeah. Let's see who can cover.
Right.
I think one thing that's really I think very interesting about this is our third season with the 3 preseason games. And the NFL for the longest time had a group think on how to do the preseason games. We had Joe in this week, and it was like, all right, nobody plays in the first one, a little in the second, dress rehearsal third, nobody in the fourth.
Yep.
They're figuring this out team by team how to do this. There is no group think with this preseason. Nobody knows what – nobody's doing something because somebody else is doing it. We have teams like the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals that are playing starters at least a quarter. All of those teams are playing. Josh Allen and the Bills starters are going to play a quarter of their game. Then you have teams like the Rams who aren't playing any preseason. Then you have teams like us that are going to kind of be like a mishmash of first-team guys. But, I mean, I can't imagine a situation where Miles or Denzel or Amari or Joel or none of them. Like, there's no reason to. Like, I don't even see JOK do anything. Like, none of that. So it's like we're kind of a mix, and so everyone's still kind of filling out how to handle this 3 preseason games.
The truth of the matter is, all anybody wants is to get to the opener as healthy as they can be. And you want your team to be as sharp as they can be, weighing the risk of sharpness with health. And that's the formula that there are probably different teams, different organizations have different risk tolerances and different risk aversions and are open to maybe some exposure for what they believe is an increase in sharpness. The truth is, though, and something people should remember, you get 2 weeks You get 2 weeks after the final preseason game before an NFL game is played. So the notion that you're going to build a rhythm is not there. It's more just to get the feel, and for guys so that the first time they're hit, it isn't in a regular season game, which could potentially lead to something disastrous, right? It could, I haven't been actually tackled to the ground carrying the football, and then I fumble.
Yeah. And these practices, these joint practices that we'll have next week with Minnesota in here,
that's the work.
That's your work. That's where
that will be the biggest work of the offseason for the starters. Will be the joint practices with the Minnesota Vikings, and quite frankly, we need to dominate those practices.
We should. We absolutely should. All right, the guys starting to make their way out here. Coach Stefanski is going to talk in about 5 minutes. Going to take a quick time out. Those are your hot topics of the day, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elkin Oaks Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elkin Oaks, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. The assembled local media has assembled. And they're ready.
They're awaiting the arrival of the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, the 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski.
Your line of questioning, I would think, would be heavy into there will ask certain questions that will not get answers. Who all's going to play? that's still being decided will be the answer to that.
He might give you that answer today.
I don't think if you go, unless you went through every guy, like if you went Miles, Denzel, do you think he would go through every guy? Or do you think he'd be more vague still?
I don't
think
know.
He'd be more vague. I would put the safe money on vague.
On vague? It's definitely the safe bet. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yes, pretty good track record of vague.
Yeah.
And then I think the other line of questioning that I'm most interested in is, you mentioned yesterday, the left tackle. Where are we there?
Yeah.
Where's Jack? Where's Jed? What's going on?
I'm not sure there's an answer. I'm not sure there's a good answer.
Yeah, but it's got to be asked.
It's got to be asked because right now that's the wet blanket on this football team is the left tackle.
You have not told me the backstory. I know whom it's in reference to.
Yeah.
But
it's when he has to deal out hard truths.
That's the wet blanket.
Yeah, when he's
running
a business. So sometimes you got to be honesty. You got to be honest. And hard truths are called hard truths because they're hard to hear sometimes, but they are also true.
Yeah.
And so we would not be, we would be remiss in doing our duties here if we were not, we weren't concerned about that. And I am concerned about it because it would be one thing if we had Jed on the practice field. It would be another thing if we've got, Jack back, and then you can at least try to figure out a way, what's the best way to get DeWand and Jack out there. But right now it's DeWand, and then you got James Hudson, and you've got a couple of guys. And now Jermaine Ifedi was a former first-round pick out of Texas A&M of Seattle. But he hasn't started in a few years, and there's probably a reason for that. When you're a first-round pick, you stay in the league, but you're not starting. Hakeem Adeniji has not started in a few years, and the reason for that is go watch the Browns against the Bengals. Well, we've got eyes here.
Yeah, we have
eyes.
We
will see him. And
we have not seen him make the walk yet, Kev. Kev.
There it is.
Kev, no, not even here.
Kev's not even
Get
here.
ready.
Do you have? Did you hack into the interior cameras?
Is there a locker room cam he saw like that?
Great job.
Like now the WWE shows them go through gorilla position. Did he see Stefanski going through gorilla right there?
He must have. So coach approaching the he does.
Oh, baby.
You do, Kev. Good job at you. So here's coach. He's approaching. There he is. Good to see you. Fantastic. And here we go. Here's coach at the podium.
All right, guys, fire away.
You know.
Anybody back to practice today that's been out for me?
You'd have to give me a name.
Hicks, Tony, Fields.
They will not be back out yet.
Hey, Kevin, it seems like there's been a lot of fights around the league the last 2 days, and I know that's happens every preseason or training camp. But when you talk to the guys about it, is that something you kind of emphasize repeatedly throughout camp? Not quite.
Certainly something you talk about. It's been going football since the beginning of time. We'll talk about it as we get into next week, certainly as we welcome the Vikings into town. But the guys understand there's work to get done. It is a waste of time, but our guys have done a nice job so far. But again, it's football. I get it.
We saw Quentin Jefferson go down last practice. Any update on him?
He's fine. Yep, just fine.
Will Jerome Ford play Saturday?
I'm not going to go each guy, Jeff, but a bunch of starters will be playing. I think Jerome has a good chance of playing, yes.
Kevin, even though it's just your first preseason game, this will probably be James Hudson's first game playing left tackle. How important is it for him to take into that position?
Yeah, I think certain guys, Tony, have a real good understanding of left and right, and moving a guy either side doesn't bother them too much from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, the technique. I'd say James has done a nice job with right and left throughout his career, even practice. He works on both sides, so I think he's excited for any opportunity because those are great reps for him. But I wouldn't say he's not the type of player who gets pigeonholed to one side.
Kevin, if you could talk about the glue guys, on this team, guys you couldn't live without. If you could make a clone, 52 clones of one of the guys on this roster to complete the team, who would that one guy be?
I mean, everybody knows this answer, right? Want to help him? Nicholas Jamal Chubb.
Watch up.
Nick's, since I've been here, is just one of the great leaders, one of the great guys on the team. Works hard in the meeting room, out here on the field. Fun to be around, so he's an easy one to coach.
Kevin, Jameis Winston kind of energized us before. What has his presence meant to the team, the quarterback group, and specifically to Deshaun?
Jameis has done a great job since day one in getting in here. He definitely has an infectious personality. You hear him before you see him. But he's done a really nice job. This is a new system for Jameis. He's learning like a lot of the new players in the system are, but he's really taken the bit, worked hard at it, and he's had some nice moments out here.
Kevin, we know obviously the backup quarterback is important if he has to play, but when he doesn't have to play, when he's just kind of supporting the starter, how important is it to have a guy like that?
That backup position, we've all seen it over the years. Certainly we've seen it, but just in my time, it's an important position. You don't get a ton of reps. You have to be ready to roll at a moment's notice, but you can have a great impact on the football team, both on the field and off the field. So I've seen some great ones. I don't think it's a mistake that you see a lot of coaches come from that backup quarterback position. It's kind of like backup catchers and point guards and those type of things. It's a cerebral position where I think you get a lot of guys that understand all the nuances of this game.
So for a guy like Jameis, who's a former #1 pick, who started a bunch of games, for him to sort of embrace that, what does that say about him?
Not surprisingly, he's a team guy all the way. He wants to win badly, and like you mentioned, Jameis has had an interesting career to date, but the book's never written. He's a guy that works hard at his craft, and like right now, his main goal in life is to get better as a football player and help his football team, and that's what he's doing.
Did you know much about his personality, Kevin, before you guys signed him?
You always do your research, Jeff, so you understand. People give you anecdotes and bits and pieces of guys, but no, until you are with Jameis and spending time with him, until you're doing that, you get a full picture of who he is.
He's reiterated to us multiple times that he's been in the situation Deshaun's been, being the guy, all the pressure on his shoulders. Was that part of the reason that you guys brought him in, to be kind of a mentor to Deshaun in that way?
I think he's a good football player. I'd really start there. He's played a lot of games in this league, won a lot of football games, so that's really the most important piece. Now, obviously, he's a good person, and in that way can support all of his teammates.
This is your last practice before the game Saturday, pretty much. Do you expect to give those guys who are going to get play time a lot more snaps today?
Not necessarily. We'll adjust some of the reps and the walkthrough reps to get guys prepared for the game, but want to continue on our progression and getting ready for this season.
Aside from health, what's the one or two things you're hoping to get out of Saturday's game?
Well, they're keeping score, so you want to win. That's important. It's an opportunity for our guys to compete, and as you know, that's a core tenet of who we are. So regardless of who's out there, we expect to compete. And the nice part, obviously, in those games, we'll get some different situations in different settings. It'll be live, so it's tackling to the ground. So that's something that you continue to emphasize with your guys. And I know it's not going to be perfect in game one. We don't expect it to be. But I think just the sheer competition of it all is what we're most excited about.
Kevin, next after James in terms of DTR or Tyler, how will you divide those?
Yeah, I want to share that with the players first, Mary Kay. But we have a plan, and I'll let you guys know.
And do you think each will get about equal time?
Yeah, yes.
Kevin, how can a game on Saturday help a guy like Trey Welch as he's trying to show who he is and how he can help his team?
Yeah, another young player, Kelsey, who's doing a nice job. And you have to remember, this is a big moment for these guys, and they're getting on an NFL field for the first time and going up against an opposite jersey for the first time. So the message to our young players, and Trayton and all of our young players, is really to take the practice field to the game field and not get overwhelmed by you're wearing a game jersey or you're in the stadium and those type of things. So that's a message that we will certainly hit our guys on. I've done that in the past just with some former coaches that have our former players that can kind of let them know what this experience is like. So for all of our young players, but in this case, our young guys that are doing this for the first time, I think it's important that they remember that you don't want to lose all your technique, all the things that you've been teaching and learning about over the last couple of weeks just because it's in a game setting.
Talking about guys taking a leap in year two. For DeJuan, what's the key to him making that jump, especially when he had a really good league?
It's that progression that comes with hard work and staying true to your craft and working at it. And DeJuan's done a nice job. I mean, he's pushing himself every single day. We're putting more on his plate every single day from a mental standpoint, that type of thing. But very competitive person. So he's, I think, enjoying these practices, enjoying going up against some really good players.
Kevin, stay a little bit more on Tyler and just what you obviously knew about him when you signed in Baltimore, but
right.
What have you learned about him in this time here?
Yeah, Snoop's done a great job in the meeting room. Very intelligent. gets questions, answers questions quickly in that meeting room. I'm impressed by that. And then we know the player that we've seen him perform on the field. So we'll get a chance to see him Saturday night, obviously, and do those type of things. But he's a talented player, and I'm excited for Snoop and all those quarterbacks. But to be in a game setting and go kind of do their thing is exciting.
Kevin, when we talked to Jerome earlier, he said coming into this season, pass protection, pass blocking was an area where he felt he really needed to show the most growth this year.
Right.
Just what have you seen from him since he came into camp?
Well, as it relates to pass protection, I don't know if any running back comes into the NFL as a good pass protector. It's very, very rare. You just don't ask college players, running backs, to do what they're asked to do in the pros. So I think everybody's on a learning curve when it comes to that. So Jerome's exactly right in terms of that's part of his game that will continue to grow. I'm proud of him for last year, what he was able to achieve in that third down role oftentimes as a pass protector. So it's a natural continuation of those type of things.
Kevin, going into your fourth season as a Browns head coach, what have you learned about yourself during your time as a head coach, and what has this city taught you?
I don't know if we have enough time. What I've learned about myself, this job it will test you, but I've learned I have great people around me, from a coaching staff, from the you name it, training staff and medical staff and strength and conditioning. Really, I'm the beneficiary of some great people around me. And then as it relates to the city, I think obviously I've gotten to know the city over the years and understand Northeast Ohio and understand Brownies fans, and I certainly understand how much they love their team.
The renderings
Let's
of
couple
the
more.
stadium are out. What were your initial thoughts on it, and dome versus non-dome?
Yeah, I trust all the people involved. I like whatever they like. I'll give you the football coach answer. I'll play anywhere. Tell us where to play. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Your head coach, Kevin Stefanski, addressing the assembled media here. It sounds like a couple of things jumped out to me. Starters will play. Significant starters will play. Beyond that, I think vague, unless directly asked. I think you probably got it. The vague bet would have paid.
The vague, yes, I think that would. It's a win
safe
for
money.
Yes, it was safe money, and yeah, we'll get some starters playing. I think it's probably easy at home if you think of the big names to say, are you gonna risk that guy? No, probably
no,
not. Probably not.
No,
so
I'd stay on it. Put him in bubble wrap. No, it's something that is I think in a little bit of a. It's one of those things where we are so accustomed to wanting to see young, bright stars. And you said this the other day, like unless you have a young quarterback that you want to see play so badly because you waited so long, or a young receiver, whatever, like unless you have that, I would play nobody.
Yeah, the only area that you might play some people is O-line, just because you want to give, Jameis, and you want to be able to protect Jameis.
Yes.
So that might be the only area really where you see any kind of decent stars. I don't think Joel at this point in his career you'll be seeing Joel Bitonio, but I do think you could see some guys that are starters on this offensive line, just because you want to make sure that your quarterback has a chance and is protected.
Yeah. You got to protect him. Got to have him in the right shape, and then you give way after that happens.
These kids are fired up. Every player comes
Riverside
out.
kids,
fired up.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
Great enthusiasm.
Got him in a chipper in youth basketball a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm happy this is going
some
down
of
so we
them,
can start seeing again. I was flying blind, baby.
Here's the other revelation I'm ready to say. It's not as hot as we think it is, because I'm telling you, if that came up, I think you'd have a decent little breeze here. You can see the leaves kind of glistening. I think it's all right.
Well, guess what? We don't have that.
We don't. No.
It is as hot as we think it is for us.
Dude, we are soldiers.
That's right.
We're out here, dude.
I used to spend summers in Tucson, Arizona, brother. Summers in the desert with the great Zagos.
Nom.
I drop a we're a soldier. Gibby just slowly shakes his head.
Yeah. Imagine if I had said that.
So great. So great.
No, I think you would have gotten the same.
It would have been the same look.
I think there would have been a little bit more disgust.
Would have been a similar look of it. That's fine. No one's watching.
No,
you're fine. That's fine.
That's not true. This is a highly watched
I know
program.
it's listening anyways.
This is always one of my favorites. No one's listening anyway. Say whatever you want. Do whatever you need. Do what you need to do.
Yep.
That's it.
Got it.
All right, so the team making its way out, some lovely youth from Riverside who are doing
Dave
they're
Bors
loud.
Was a fantastic football coach. I think he's the athletic director now. Maybe he's somewhere else, but he was an ESPN Cleveland High School Coach of the Year.
Do you have a nickname for me on Riverside? Is it Beavers? Riverside. That's a great job out of me. And you, Kev.
I don't know where you pulled that from.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably not for air, but
no, no. We played them a couple of years ago in a chipper, and so I've seen that. I just a little bit of recall there. That's all that was.
Riverside.
Remember the first time I saw MJ Emerson? No, we all did. It was you, me, and Hoff. And the first time we saw him, we went, "Who's 23?"
Yeah.
He just is a dude, man.
Total dude.
Total dude.
I think he'll be regarded as one of the premier cornerbacks in the National Football League by the end of the season.
I think you're right.
And it will be just due. I mean, he's already been there.
Yeah.
We went through those stats.
It would be nice if he were
actually
recognized.
Got the recognition. I think our team is going to start to get that. I think we're not used to that.
Yep.
And people don't believe they're as good as they are, but I think it's coming. The whole offseason is coming.
I'm with you. I couldn't agree more as here comes Jameis Winston now. Little high fives for the kids.
I just want to see him drive that car.
Bo, wait till you'll hear the presser. We'll play it in the 2 o'clock hour.
Oh, we got it? Oh,
By the way,
my
the
God.
Browns, we got so many injuries at linebacker, we had to sign a linebacker. And we signed Landon Honeycutt. Do you have any idea where he played his college ball?
Landon Honeycutt.
Sounds like a movie, a fictional character in a movie.
Landon Honeycutt feels like somewhere in the state of Texas.
South Carolina.
Mars Hill. Played his college ball at Mars Hill.
What is that?
Yeah,
I had to go look it up.
What is the Mars Hill?
It is in the SAC Mountain Division. He was the 2022 SAC Mountain Division Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 3-time Division II CCA All-Southeast Region first team.
Okay.
Mars Hill is in a town, believe it or not, called Mars Hill, North Carolina.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Mars Hill.
All right. The team. I would not have had. No, it would have been a lot
probably
of guesses.
safe to say that he is the first person from Mars Hill to be.
I think that feels like
spending time
very
with the
solid
National
bet.
Football League team.
It's
All right,
so
I'm looking
surreal to
that
see Jameis with the towel doing that thing that we've seen 1,000 times,
it's
and
great.
doing it as he warms up. He's just pure joy. All right, so you'll have the Jameis presser to look forward to. Camp about to start here in a couple of minutes. Quite a few people making their way in. Going to take a quick timeout. On the other side, we'll go around some of the news and notes around the league. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. As students head back to school, it's important to remember that good school attendance is the foundation for student success. Absences early in the school year can have a lasting impact on learning. The Cleveland Browns Foundation is a proud founder of Stay in the Game Attendance Network, partnering with school districts to dramatically improve student attendance. Let's start the school year off right by showing up every day on time, ready to learn. Visit stayinthegame.org to learn more and support strong attendance in your community. Kibbe?
Mars Hill has had 3 players drafted.
Wow.
Most recently, of course, the phone doesn't work.
Oh, great.
Denzel Good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Who was he drafted by?
The Colts.
What position? DB, right?
No, offensive tackle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Khalid Abdullah in 2003.
What year was Denzel Good?
Denzel Good actually had himself a career. He had 7 years. 7th round pick in 2015.
Look at Joe Hayden going through the run-through line.
Abdullah was in 2003, and Johnny Maxey was in 2016, the defensive end.
Wow.
So a couple guys.
So Mars Hill, that must have been a pretty solid D2 program.
I would think so.
Like, do you even know what the D2CCA is?
No. I covered Division II football. Valdosta State, they won national championships in Division II.
Do you know what the SAC Mountain Division is?
How could there be a mountain division in the Southeast?
It's SAC. I don't know.
It's a great
South
question.
Atlantic, maybe?
Well, you said they're in North. Oh, I guess there are mountains in North Carolina.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
they're
Blue
not,
Ridge Mountains, baby. Come on.
Isn't that Tennessee?
It spans from
Spans
North
from
Carolina
there.
through. Yeah.
That's where Last the Mohicans.
Yes, exactly. Chimney Rock.
Chimney Rock. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, boy. Zagura's favorite
Oh,
movie.
baby, what a film.
I've only seen it once.
It's insane.
And it was in high school.
That's outrageous.
It's been that
to me.
long since
It's
I've
a
seen it.
romantic drama.
Do you feel like it would hold up?
I
if
know
I
it.
watched it today?
I know it does.
Not a romantic
How long
comedy.
is it? No.
Not a
that was
romantic
Not a
comedy.
romantic comedy.
2 hours?
Oh, that's it?
Maybe.
It's very
2:15?
accessible then. It's not like
Let
a
me-
4-hour bomb.
No,
Like the whole reason I haven't watched Oppenheimer is I look at that runtime and I just go, I don't have that in me.
Dude, this is one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever made.
No, I've seen it.
Wes Studi as Magua.
yeah.
Hour
Yeah.
52. Not even 2
Oh,
hours.
jeez. It's cakewalk. I
Get
could do
in
that
there.
my sleep.
This is
Great
peak Daniel
soundtrack.
Day-Lewis. The soundtrack's elite. It's on my Spotify playlist.
I was going to say, I have that sound.
Madeline Stowe.
No, I know the cast and I have seen it. I just
Russell Means.
Yeah.
You know Russell Means. What other show?
Who's your
what show that we love has Russell Means been on?
Let me get a look at him. Oh, I don't know.
Wandering Bear.
Wandering Bear.
From Curb.
Is he? You're kidding.
He
I
was
didn't know.
Wandering Bear.
That's great.
He's prescribed. Remember, there are some issues happening, and he prescribes some medicine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do. But
Oh,
I would
yeah.
not have had that.
Oh, yeah.
I would not have had that. We have football tonight. Panthers at Patriots, 7 o'clock NFL Network. Lions at Giants. The Lions-Giants, they've played that one already. They've been doing that during minicamp.
Yeah.
During their
It's a brawl fest.
Yeah, it is. And both of those coaches both those operations, that makes sense to me. Panthers at Patriots, little Drake May maybe get a little look at him.
Sure.
Trotting around out there. That's probably what you hope for. We know that the Bengals are going to wear their white Bengal uniforms against the Eagles on the 27th. Nick Foles is retiring. Eagles, Chiefs, Jags, Bears, Colts. He twice got big contracts off of instances of greatness that was pretty short. Well, he was really good under Chip. I want to say it was 26 touchdowns, 2 picks.
27. Very good.
Yeah, and it was really
Jeremy
good.
Maclin.
So that's when he got the Chiefs contract. Then it didn't go well. He ended up in Jacksonville. Then he went back to Philly, and Phillied him.
Won the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl MVP, and then he got the money from, was it Jacksonville or Chicago that took care of him at that point?
Yeah, career 29-29. He went from Philly went to Jacksonville, played 4 games, and was gone. Chicago for 2 years, Indy. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Last threw a pass in 2022. Yeah, that year, 2013, Geis plays 10 starts, goes 8-2, throws for 2,891 yards, 64% completions, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks, 9.1 yards per attempt led the league, 14.2 yards per completion led the league, 119.2 rating led the league.
Chip Kelly.
His career quarterback rating, by the way, is 86.2. So, I mean, you talk about that being an outlier amongst outliers. It most certainly was.
And one of the all-time dudes. Like,
Great
just
guy.
great guy. Everybody who's been around him Just
great
absolutely loved
energy,
him.
they say about him.
Yeah, did. And that Philly that's a magical season. A bunch of fights breaking out in Seattle yesterday. DK Metcalf swinging his helmet at Trey Brown. Mike McDonald, the head coach there, saying, quote, I'm proud of how we responded today. We came out. We're ready to practice. I don't know what the numbers are, but we've been out here, 14 past 16 days. I think we're tired of going against one another, but the guys are spirited.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say if they've been out there 14 of the past 16 days, there will be an investigation launched by the NFLPA because that will be a violation of the practice protocol.
It's every 5 days. Day off.
Can't be out there 14 out of 16. No way.
No, that doesn't
fine.
seem right.
Former Raven cheating. Not surprising.
I'm doing do this thing in the morning where we go around every team in the league, 2 teams a day, go around a division. We just did the NFC West, and I did Seattle and San Francisco today, and getting some insight on the Ayuk stuff with the Steelers, and it's compensation. So now it's almost like, what can the 49ers do to find the appropriate compensation for him and so forth and so on. The guy did say that he thought there was no chance of putting that thing back together with Ayuk going back to San Francisco, that they had crossed that bridge and there's no going back. Was
really?
His sense. So who knows?
Well, a lot of people seem to think that that's what's the likely outcome at this point. That the Steelers are not willing to part with what the Niners want them to part with.
Who do you think it is? Because it's got to be a receiver.
Well, it would have Pickens.
I mean, that would be that's way too steep. You would never do that.
No.
So it can't be that.
Or a pick that's high enough that they wouldn't have to give somebody.
Look at this guy.
What's going on, dude?
Look at
the
kid.
Good to see you.
The kid.
Yeah,
we
we
are.
are.
You're safe. You're safe.
Yeah, you're fine.
Great. Look great.
No, we are on air.
No, we are.
on
We
air.
are.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
You're fine. You're safe.
He looks ready to go win Wimbledon right
he does.
now. Look at
He's
him.
Wimbledon
yeah,
ready. He's got the Lulu
absolutely,
socks, the Viore shorts.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
ready to go. All right. What would be the give back that would make Pittsburgh? Because it can't. You're not going to do Pickens because the whole point is that's like when everyone was talking about Amari here. I'm like, no. You want him and Amari.
Sure, and where our contract situation would allow us to do that, and I think
Right.
that was very much the plan here. My guess is that they're looking for, a Freiermuth to go with a 2 tight end set. They're looking for, an Alex Highsmith maybe as another pass rusher to go opposite Bosa.
Yeah.
I think they're looking for something
They're trying to big
significant
game
back. Whereas we have an opportunity, I think, to move, Pro Bowl caliber players at certain positions that we have tremendous depth at that might be appealing to the 49ers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels like I think it would be one of those situations kind of like Jerry Jeudy. Unless the Niners call back and say, or Ayuk says, hey, yeah, let's do this. I think this team they put it out there. And now they're on to the season and getting things done with the roster that they've got here.
All right, there you go. Second hour up next. Team is mostly out here on the field. There's Jerry Jeudy right there.
Does
Chris,
not look like he will be practicing today.
No, sans pads.
Yeah.
Leg sleeve in effect, but no pads for Mr. Jeudy on that side.
He was
things.
darn fun to watch earlier this week when he was out here.
I don't need to see him.
No,
I'll see him in September. I don't need it. I'm good.
I need just as long as we know we're good. We're good.
I just mean, I guess what I should have clarified is I don't need to see him in a preseason game. I need to see him practice a little bit, but
Sure.
I don't need that. The great Chris Rowe is going to join us.
He is.
That's very exciting. So we have that. He wasn't he in the foreground of a brawl?
Yeah, and he was there. He was part of the interview with McCaffrey when he called.
Oh, that's right.
A former teammate.
We'll have some great fun with Chris Rose coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans come to party. Josh Cribbs, Kevin Mack, Joe Hayden, and more. True Fan Travel hosting premium trip packages for Browns fans in Vegas, New Orleans, Denver, D.C. Flights, hotels, tailgate tickets, and more, all taken care of. Visit truefantravel.com today and reserve your ultimate Browns travel package. Something what you're wetting your beak on before we get to the great Chris Rose joining us? You okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just seeing some people watching, seeing who's
Seeing what's
walking
happening.
through.
Who are the people? People who are the people. Well, listen. When you're talking about people coming through, as the biggest of L is walking in here, the Browns preseason TV voice. He's the NFL Network superstar. He's one of the greatest men to ever walk the planet. He's a great Chris Rose.
He is.
Joins the show via the Twisted Tea hotline. It's brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of Cleveland Browns. Keep it Twisted, Cleveland. All right, Z and I were trying to decide. You were definitely interviewing McCaffrey, right? Do we have that right?
I was.
When he said by former or current teammate. And then were you also in one of the ones of the fights happening behind you, Chris?
No, I did not. I did not get into any of the fisticuffs. Yes, I am clear. Just the McCaffrey. People have obviously made a big deal about that. I think these guys. I got to be honest with you. These guys are on such cruise control, and when they get into other people's business and stuff like that,
yep.
Like they don't
want to.
I mean, I didn't make it. I think it was a slip. I really do. Like, okay, he might be a former teammate in a couple. Christian McCaffrey is not a part of the meetings when John Lynch is on the phone with whatever team. Like, he's not like, hey, Christian, are you good with this deal? Like, you want to sign off on it? Yeah, John, I'm good. So, like, he could care less about that stuff. I mean, he wants to play with him, but he understands the rest of it.
Chris, how excited are you to get back in the booth on News 5 this Saturday and talk about this Cleveland Browns football team? And I got to tell you, I'm thrilled to be alongside you. I think it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, thank God we got rid of that, overblown, bald, European vacation wanting whatever Joe Thomas is.
He's a European citizen.
And finally got
right?
I don't think he's ever coming back.
I don't think
true.
so either.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if he had been participating in the shot put in the Olympics, would he have been representing the United States or England at this point? I mean, who knows?
Might even be Germany.
Is it German?
Is it German?
Could be Germany.
Munich. Yeah.
He's in Munich. They got all those beer gardens, and I think it's right up his alley.
Oh, he's having time of his life.
Yeah.
He's having it. Yeah, so don't worry, everybody. I'm just keeping the hot seat warm while he gallivants around Europe on his European vacation.
Yeah, we're calling it a European sabbatical for him. He's like the English professor with the tweed jacket, just taking a semester or a year. Yeah, he'll be back.
He will be, and we'll all be better for it. What are you most excited about with this team and this season? Is it it really gets underway on Saturday?
Yeah, I would say that as far as during the game, getting a chance to see like a Mike Hall, whom fans of the Browns are obviously well-versed in since he played his college ball just down the road and is from Northeast Ohio. But really because he's going to get an opportunity here. And, there's no Dalvin right now. Shelby Harris is dinged up. So he's going to get, you would imagine, a ton of reps. He might be dog-tired at the end of this thing. But I think that'll be fun to watch. I'm excited to see Cedric Tillman.
Yep.
I always love seeing how much guys who are drafted in the middle rounds as receivers improve from year one to year two. I think he's a guy, as much as we have all talked about Brandon Ayuk over the last week or so, I think he's a guy that could really force his way onto the field much more than we anticipate throughout this season. I'm a big believer in him. So, those I think, are two guys that I'm keeping my eye on. But I'm ready to see football. Once we start knocking out these games and we get that much closer to being the third most important story that's going to happen in the stadium on September 8th, because we know the whole world's going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and the whole world's going to be curious to see how Tom Brady does in the booth. And, oh, yes, those cute little Cleveland Browns can play too, but that'll be nice for us to be able to steal some headlines, I do believe.
I think you're right on that. Chris, Nathan and I were talking. It feels like going into year 3 with the 3 preseason game format, there really isn't groupthink from around the league on how to handle it. A bunch of teams are doing it differently. Buffalo's going to play their guys for a quarter. Kansas City's going to do that. Cincinnati's going to do that. We're going to play some of ours. We're kind of in the middle.
Yep.
The Rams typically play nobody. As you go around to these camps, you talk to your all of your contacts around the league, what is there? Are we getting close to some sort of groupthink on it, or is everybody still trying to figure out how to handle 3 preseason games?
Well, I mean, I really do believe that every team has different philosophies. Now, if I were running the show, I do think that you want to get certain guys ready to go and ready to be hit. Like I would think that it's weird to just go out there on September 8th and say, okay, we're willing to go. I mean, like, here we go, because there's so little hitting, like so few tackle to the ground in these training camps.
There's none here.
I figure at some point, I know there's none, and the Browns aren't alone in that thinking. I was just at Niners camp, as you mentioned. They weren't doing that. And Kyle Shanahan really doesn't play a lot of his dudes. So, but I think you've got to get something. You know, you got to be hit by somebody where there's, you know, as much as you want to go full speed-ish when the pads are on, you're not. It's not true football until somebody's getting tackled all the way to the ground. And, you know, there's 5 or 6 guys trying to wrap you up on a play. So, I don't know. Everybody's different. There will be no consensus on that, as there never is.
No, there's absolutely no consensus on that in the NFL. We're talking to Chris Rose, who will be the play-by-play voice on News 5's broadcast of the Cleveland Browns preseason this year. And Chris, you mentioned some of those young guys you are excited to see. One thing that I'm excited about is the fact that I don't know that there's a team in the league that has 4 quarterbacks the caliber of ours. And so in the preseason, when you think about quarterbacks 3 and 4, in our case it's, you know, DTR and Snoop Huntley, who's been a Pro Bowler, played for the Ravens, you know, started 10 games. I think we should have a pretty good quarterback advantage late in some of these preseason games. It should be pretty fun to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. Like, you're going to get down – let's just take the team we're playing, for example. Jordan Love's going to get some snaps, which is awesome. I'm excited to see him play. He's one of my favorite young players in the league, was, you know, got the $220 million extension. Whatever it is. I think that's awesome. But at the same time, the rest of the quarterback room there is like, who? Like, it's Sean Clifford, who obviously Buckeye fans know a little bit about, since he started, I think, 7 or 8 years at Penn State.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
And then it's Michael Pratt, who is a 7th-round pick out of Tulane. They just cut Jacob Eason, who, you know, used to zing the ball around at Georgia and Washington. But, like, if Jordan Love goes down, gulp. Good luck with the season, Matt LaFleur. For us, we've got Jameis Winston, who was the #1 overall pick almost a decade ago. We've got Snoop Huntley, who has started a playoff game. And we got DTR, who was probably the preseason MVP a year ago and whom the Browns think very highly of. So that's nice, is that the quarterback play in our games when you get to the second half is going to be NFL-like, not Division II Mars Hill-like.
Mars Hill, by the way.
Our guys, yeah.
Mars Hill, Landon Honeycutt, just joined the Browns, the linebacker. So we did some digging into this, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but I certainly was not. Gibbe told us Mars Hill actually has had 3 players drafted into the National Football League all time. Most recently, offensive tackle Denzel Good, who was drafted in the 7th round in 2015 by the Colts and played for 7 years in the NFL. So I would not have had that.
No, I would not have had that.
So it must be a powerhouse.
All I can tell you is, well, Nathan, as you and I were speaking earlier today, is that Mars Hill, I believe they're either in the same conference as Carson Newman, or they at least played them on the schedule this year or last year. And any Browns fan that's around 40 or 50 would remember the name Boyce Green. He was a kind of a flash-in-the-pan running back in the early to mid-'80s. I want to say he had a huge game against the Steelers in like 83 or something, or 84, something like that. Somebody can look at this up real quick.
Yeah, we got
and he went to Carson Newman.
Oh, that is
okay.
Great.
If somebody played against, if Honeycutt played against Carson Newman, then he's okay in my book.
All right, Carson Newman was an 11th round pick of the Cleveland Browns.
Boyce Green was. Carson Newman was the college.
Boyce Green, yep. Carson Newman's the college. Was an 11th round pick of the Cleveland Browns in the 1983 NFL draft. And in 2000,
I want to say he had like 180 yards or something against the Steelers or something.
He had 28 carries for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game in which the Browns lost 44-17. That game took place on October the 16th, 1983. He then had a 107-yard game with a touchdown a couple weeks later when the Browns defeated the Houston, I'd say then Oilers, 25-19. He would also have 2 more. He had 4 100-yard games in his career with the Cleveland Browns. Another 156 in a win over Buffalo and 121 in a win over Atlanta. So they were 3-1 when Boyce Green got loose for 100 yards.
See, this is the beauty of
both.
This is what you're going to get Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, now I got this at the ready. Boyce Green.
We got to
save. We got to keep some.
Saturday's going to be fun. Saturday's going to be a lot of fun.
We got to keep some ammo in the clip right here, Chris.
Yep.
We can't get everything out right now.
Well, guys, we're going to be talking about our Pro Bowl play at quarterback in the second half. We will not have time for Boyce Green, Carson Newman, 4 100-yard games for this sort of stuff. Bo, did you think you were going to wake up today discussing the exploits of one Boyce Green on this show?
Boyce Green, Mars Hill, Carson Newman, all were not on the bingo cards.
No.
Not on the bingo cards, buddy. They were not. I should pass along some injury news. We mentioned Jerry Jeudy he is not practicing today. He's got the wrap back on his left leg. Zadarius Smith, Shelby Harris aren't practicing, but they are out here watching. Devonta Foreman is back. So
that's great.
I saw him out there, so he's back and ready to go and in full gear. Anybody else? I think everybody else is kind of the normal.
Kind of the same, yeah.
Kind of the same, yeah.
By the way, I thought I had seen it when I was looking earlier. I thought I'd seen MGK, but it turns out that was not MGK. It was just another very tall, blonde Cleveland Browns fan walking around earlier.
Yeah, yeah. So this will be fun. This is going to be for the folks out there, for you two. You guys have a great natural chemistry. Anyway, Chris is probably one of the easiest guys you could ever talk to. And so in a preseason game, you have the ability to – I mean, you guys are going to have some time to tell some stories, you know? And this roster depth and some of these interesting stories that are in there, in a way, I think you guys are going to have a ball. I do.
Remembers the score of preseason
games
at all. And if you do remember the score of a preseason game, there's something seriously wrong with you. And that is coming from a diehard sports fan.
The only thing I remember.
So yeah, we're going to find.
The only thing I remember about preseason outcomes was a year where we went undefeated in the preseason, and it did not portend good things in the regular season as we got all of our winning done in the games that didn't matter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's worried about that. It's a journey, and it's about learning about this team. You know, you got 90 guys, and of course there will not be 90 here. There'll be 53, but 16 on the practice, so 69. Guys have an opportunity, to be a part of this program going forward and, identifying some of those young guys that maybe in the future can play a bigger role, or guys that can maybe, force their way onto this roster. And I think, you look at this team and you say, Chris, right, just being a draft pick, number one, used to guarantee you a spot on the Cleveland Browns, and two, probably guaranteed you a chance to start, at least a legitimate shot at starting. Now you're going to have draft picks that do not make this team for sure. And if there is an undrafted guy who kind of shocks the world like a Ronnie Hickman or a Mahmoud Diabate did last year, that'll be a good story. That'll be compelling and kind of show, the evolution, because that's what this team needs to do. They do need to find some guys who are undrafted free agents or later round draft picks that are able to play for this team, because we are going to be heavy at the top in terms of our salaries. And we have a JOK extension that needs to be done. We have a lot of people, big name core players who are inked with the team through 2025. And so those are going to be contracts. MJ Emerson is going to need a big contract soon. So there's a lot that goes into this, current year roster, 3-year horizon. And that's something, Chris, right, that Andrew Berry and his staff are very, very cognizant of. And they're hoping that they can find some diamonds in the rough out here. And hopefully we'll unearth some of them, in the preseason last year, like we were able to do with DTR, who then goes on and allows for the trade of Josh Dobbs and the assets that come with that. So I think it will be fun. It's fascinating.
Well, on top of that, it's out of necessity, because part of the reason you need to pay attention is because of what happened to our team last year. And you don't even want to put this out in the universe with bad juju.
Don't do it.
But it is the NFL. It's the NFL, folks. So you are going to hear names. You need not only those 53, you need those 69 guys to be ready. And, there's guys who are getting called up. I love the rule changes in terms of the flexibility of calling guys up on a day and essentially sending them back down. It's almost taking a page out of the Major League Baseball book where a guy makes a spot start, but it could come at a really important time. And so that's where you're going to be introduced to these people. It's our job to kind of tell their stories for some of these younger people, whether it's a Jamari Thrash, somebody like that, or, Miles Harden, guys that are late round draft picks that you probably didn't watch closely on Saturdays. So we're going to get it going.
Chris, yesterday the organization put out a letter to the fan base, a video of a stadium rendering and some images. Nathan and I obviously very big fans of this. Nothing is done yet, but this was the first time the organization has put something out in terms of this is one of the things we're thinking of, and I'm not ready to abandon anything or make a decision completely. But as someone who just referenced Boyce Green, what did you make of what you saw in that imaging?
It's pretty incredible. And listen, I understand. I don't live there anymore, but my heart is there. Okay, and I grew up going to every home Browns game, and I've raised 2 sons out here that bleed brown and orange. So we care as much about the Browns and the community as you can when you don't live there at 365. And so I understand the sensitivity for people if indeed it ends up getting a new stadium gets built out in Brook Park. But you also have to understand the economics of the world we live in the sports world, and particularly in the NFL world, where it's not just about 8 or 9 regular season games and 1 or 2 preseason games a year. It is about, bringing an economic infusion to a city when you can have a Final Four for 65,000 people at a stadium, and you can house other things, multiple concerts year-round that will bring in the type of revenue that it can. So you just have to understand that there is a bigger picture. Whether you like it or not, you have to have that understanding to it, while also being sensitive to, hey, listen, we want the Browns in downtown Cleveland. I get that. I understand it. But they're not, if that goes on, they're not moving. Like, people in Boston love the Patriots. You maybe have never been up to Foxborough. It is closer to Providence, Rhode Island than Boston, Massachusetts. I was just at Niners camp. That is not in San Francisco. It is in Santa Clara. It is a 10-minute ride from the San Jose airport. So you just have to understand that this is the world we're in. And by the way, that video got me fired up. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I might buy my vacation home in Cleveland after all.
Yes. Let's do it. By the way, Chris, and you can tell me if this was something that was just for us to discuss in private, but I know that there's an exciting reunion that I think everybody listening would be interested in hearing about. Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah. Maybe people have seen on social media in particular that Michael Rubin, he throws those white parties, which somehow my invitation got lost to. I can't believe that Brady and Jeter and Jay-Z and all those folks made it, and somehow I got left off the list again. But I made this list. It's called Fanatics Fest, and it's going on next weekend in New York City. It's up at the Javits Center. So think of it, if you're familiar with Comic-Con, it's trying to be the first sports version of that. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're going to have a main stage, and they're going to have shows all weekend long. Like, I know CM Punk is doing something. Tom Brady will be there. The Manning brothers will be there. Derek Jeter will be there. It's really big. And they asked the crew from the Best Damn Sports Show, period, if we'd be interested in doing a one-day reunion. And so Tom, John Sally, Michael Irvin, myself, John Kruk, unfortunately, can't do it because he's doing a Phillies game that day and can't get out of it. So CeCe Sabathia, our old buddy, will be joining us. Jalen Rose is going to have a part in it. He used to be a pretty solid contributor on our show. And for an hour up there, we're going to have the stage on Sunday, the 18th of August. I'm not sure about the streaming possibilities of this, but once we find out, I'm going to send it out on social media. And I can't wait because I get asked more about that show 15 years after it went off the air than anything else I've ever done. And I'm super excited to bring it back, even if it's for one day only.
I
How
think
cool,
I told you,
right?
this is so cool. I think I've told you
On
this in
every
person.
level.
On every level. I think I've told you this in person, Chris. That was one of the most influential shows when I was in television, one of the most influential shows. I thought the way that you orchestrated that and everything that was in that show, I did a show here in the state of Ohio that was basically, the pitch for it was best damn sports show for the state of Ohio. I did a show that was exactly what it was. So you guys crushed it. That pleases me to no end. I hope that we can find a way to watch it. That is awesome. That is really, really cool that that's happening, buddy.
Yeah, I can't wait because, we still stay in touch, more texting than anything else. But I think to be able to sit up there, whether it's for more than one show or just for one more show, it'll be great because it wasn't – I'll be honest, the show was not for everybody, and we knew that. We kind of jokingly called ourselves the best damn sports show, period. But I think what it did allow people to do was have a blueprint to understand that sports was supposed to be fun, that – it was important to introduce people to athletes and entertainers beyond the 3 hours that we see them on our TV. And it was okay to just enjoy yourself. Sports was getting too serious at the time that show came along. And hopefully we allowed people to kind of grab a deep breath and just say, what the hell, let's just enjoy it.
You guys crushed it. That's awesome.
Man, it's the
That's
best.
awesome. So we'll look. Can't wait to see you. We'll see.
There's
you on
truth in
Saturday.
the name of that show.
Well, and I always think too, like if what Chris just said there, that people still come to that show's been off the air for 15 years. It's very possible that a great many people watched it that weren't getting credit for watching it while they watched it.
Yep.
Because everybody I knew watched that show. Chris.
Agreed.
I mean, it was on constantly, buddy. So very cool, and look forward to the call with you and Z on Saturday, buddy. Thanks for your time.
Can't wait to get to the hometown. I'll see you guys this weekend. Bo, always good catching up with you. Nathan, I will see you Saturday.
You got it, brother.
That's it. You got a date Saturday. Going to be a lot of fun there. All right, coming up next, this is going to be a lot of fun too. This is Jameis Winston at the podium. We'll also paint some of the pictures of what's going on out here at training camp practice. The team's going through some early motions now. We'll get into all of that coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bill here for my friends at Jim Beam. What do sports and Jim Beam have in common? Both are better when enjoyed with others. So grab a bottle, gather your friends, and enjoy the game. Because with Jim Beam, you come as fans and you leave as family. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright the 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. And now we head to the podium. Presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. And your starting quarterback for this week, Jameis Winston.
That was your first game.
You're done.
New uniform. How are you feeling about Saturday?
Extremely blessed. I'm grateful that I get a chance to play a sport that I love, that I've been playing since I'm 4 years old, with a new color on, but 5 back on, so that's very exciting.
We saw you have an explosive day yesterday. How good did that feel, and how ready are you for Saturday?
Yeah, the most important thing is today. So getting out there and executing with the guys today. Obviously, when you have great days, you want to build upon that, and I think everyone wants to build upon the good days and eliminate the bad days.
Did you think that was your best practice day 2 days ago?
I'm looking forward to having my best practice day today.
Jim, you've been doing this a while. How valuable do you think the preseason reps are, and what's the most valuable maybe part of those?
Well, every time you get an opportunity to go out there and express your talent, it's very valuable. I can't place a single thing that's more valuable than the other because I'm extremely grateful that I get the opportunity to go out there and work with the guys.
James, you're all energy and smiles. You got your feet out. How do you translate your good energy onto the field when you play?
Well, that's where it just comes from. It comes from who I am, my essence, my charismatic self, always exuberant, the light, a man of increase, a man of faith. And that's where it comes from. It comes from my foundation and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's where all of my good looks, my energy, everything comes from. My feet is just it's a blessing.
Are you looking forward to the Browns fans and the dog pound getting to see you in orange and brown out there at Cleveland Brown Stadium on Saturday?
Absolutely. That's the most exciting part, man. To get in that stadium, have those fans tearing down on us, supporting us, being loud, going Dogs, go Brownies. Like I just can't wait to feel that atmosphere and go out there and get a win for them.
Jameis, it seems like you've really been connecting with some of the guys. Cedric Tillman's having a really nice camp, and some of the other receivers. Just how's that connection going with the young guys and Amari and everybody, really?
It's going well, and the thing is, the most beautiful thing is just learning who they are. You know, obviously out there on the field, man, it's amazing. God has blessed us to do some amazing things, but I really took pride in the time that we had together at the Greenbrier. Like those 8 days just allowed us to really get a chance to know who people truly are, understand the roots, understand things that they don't like, understand things that they do like. So that is way more important than getting out there and balling on the field. Like that's everyone's dream, to get out there and ball on the field, but not often do you get a chance, especially in the NFL, to connect one-on-one with your teammates and get to know who your offensive linemen are, who they really are, get to know who your receivers really are. And I think Coach Stefanski and our leadership has done an amazing job of just allowing us to gel together.
Jameis, since you started playing, you've always known it's all about next man up. You got to be ready because you never know. Is the backup role as a quarterback even more important now than it's ever been, at least in your time in the league?
With especially over the past few years, with a lot of the number one guys going down at any given moment, the backup quarterback role is very important. So definitely being in tune with your guys, having great chemistry with the cadences, with the calls, and everything that comes with being that starting quarterback is really flowing through the backup quarterback. Like that's the only position out there where there's only one man. So you have to be ready at all times, and I'm definitely ready for that role.
James, you talk about growing your relationship with your teammates and really getting to know them. Just how's your relationship with Deshaun grown here since you've gotten here and been able to spend time with him?
Well, it's amazing because I can just I see how I was when I was 8 years in the league. Embracing a new city, having all the weight of an organization on my shoulders, and finding ways that I can just cater to him and help assist him with this immaculate role that he has. This is a wonderful city that loves football. He has people that's dependent on him left and right, and he's doing the best job that he possibly can. And it's exciting to see, man, just come out there, have the energy, be there and lead his teammates, be there and have constructive conversations with me and study ball with them, and also just help all of us just help build each other. This is a very unique role of me being in the quarterback room alone, because this is the first year where I'm the veteran in the room. So I got a bunch of young guys that I'm trying to get to know, I'm trying to inspire and trying to increase, but at the same time, we're all building off each other. So it's really a beautiful thing just watching him grow, watching him lead and ball out on the field, but also just the man that he is, the poise and coolness and calmness that he has on the field and in the study room.
When you look at your time as a rookie, when you back when you was a rookie, getting ready for your first preseason game, and now, how's it different for you as a veteran?
Well, the most different part is the experience. I've been here before. I've done that before. As a rookie, it was just the excitement of, oh my gosh, I'm about to have my first NFL debut. I remember like yesterday, it was in Minnesota. You know, it was an exciting game, and we didn't get a chance to play in the Vikings Stadium. We had to play at the Minnesota Golden Gophers Stadium, and I was a Golden Gopher in high school. So there's so much things that you try to tie together to create similarities, but now it's just like, hey, I'm going out there and playing my best football. I got these young guys with me. I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing everything for them to play their best football. We're going out there and execute, and that's it.
Jameis, are you surprised Mike Vrabel can keep up with you out there?
I'm not surprised because he's definitely a fierce competitor, but I haven't seen him beat me yet.
How did that start?
It just started just competitive nature. He likes to get his work in between RVAs, and so do I. So we just go all out in everything that we do.
The Browns have released their renderings for a new dome stadium in Brook Park. From a quarterback position, you played inside, you played outside. What is it like to be in a controlled environment versus outside, and how much of an impact does it truly make?
Well, I believe weather in football is such a important factor, but I think the history of football was built upon those. You think about the first Super Bowl, you think about the Ice Bowl, Kansas City versus Green Bay, and you think about just the features that game possessed. So up here in Cleveland, obviously, the weather, we use that as our advantage, in a point. So I got to pass that along to the fans and see how do they feel about the stadium renderings and stuff. This is my first year here. I'm just happy to put on the Browns uniform and go out there and play great football. But definitely being in New Orleans, I can see advantages there just because it's indoors. But man, football is football. Once you get inside that gridiron, all things aside, it's time to play your best football, and the best man is going to win for that day.
James, we're scrutinizing every single one of Deshaun Watson's passes, because that's what we do. But he's got so much intense focus on him right now, and of course he's coming off of a surgery. How do you think he's handling all that scrutiny, and how are you able to kind of help him maybe block out some of that noise or get through?
One of the most iconic roles that I got a chance to witness Deshaun was when he won the national championship against Alabama in Tampa, Florida. And in that game, there were some plays where, man, I saw him get hit hard. I saw him get, beat up, but he persevered. And I think through his whole life, I mean, when you think of the way that he grew up, Deshaun was built for adversity. He was built for resilience. So honestly, I know he respects everyone's opinion, but the most important opinion to him is himself. And I know that he's working through a lot of different things, but man, he's happy. He's poised. He isn't fazed by anything that anyone has to say because he's on a mission to be the best quarterback that he possibly can be. And again, just me seeing when I was that age, and I'm just 2 years older than him, but understanding, man, to whom much is given, much is required. And he knows the magnitude and expectation that a lot of people have for him. But if you think that Deshaun Watson has a lesser expectation than all the fans or all of you have of him, then you're shortchanging yourself because he has high expectations. He wants to be and will be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And honestly, that's what I'm here for, because I guarantee you, I'm feeding that into him. I'm making sure that he knows that. And he really don't need my help because he has it. He already has possessed that. And I saw that in him when he won that national championship against Alabama. And that game meant so much to me because I'm a kid from Alabama, right? And I was a starting quarterback in Tampa, got a chance to see him lights, camera, action right then and there. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people forget. When you can go out, you can see practice, you can knick-knack, this, that, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Deshaun Watson is going to turn it on. He always going to find a way to shine when the lights come on. Man, I just rhymed. Can I leave off that one? I know that one going to hit.
Jameis, have you thought about a career in motivational speaking when you hang it up? What are you thinking?
Man, I just want to be a man of increase. My faith has brought me so far in Jesus Christ that I just want to continue to show that light. One thing that me and my boys sing before we go to sleep every night is, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And I wanna let my light shine. I want people to know that my fire for Jesus Christ. I want people to know that I'm here to encourage them, lift them up any way that I can. And that's just who I am.
What are you listening to? What's your top 5 artists of all time?
Top 5 artists, that's tough, man, because I got a lot of variety in my tunes. You know, you got rappers, you got R&B, you got gospel. So I listen from a variety of Kendrick Lamar to Fred Hammond. I listen to the old Kanye West. I listen to some Jay-Z. I listen to some Drake. You know, for the Swifties, I even try to listen to Taylor Swift. You know, it's so many things. Like, I think music, like art, is so unique. So everyone has their own spin on it. But right now, I've been really dialed into Childish Gambino's new track that just came out, and I've really been bumping that lately.
So, Jameis, when you talk about Sean's resilience, and then if there's a bad practice or bad throws, is it still something that you guys talk about, even though he has that in him? Do you still bring that up and say, okay, let's move past this throw or this practice?
I think more of the construction side comes from our coaching. Coach Stefanski, Ashton, and Ken. Like, they do a great job of relaying the message of the do's and the don'ts. And I think a part of training camp is that learning aspect. Like, this is a new offense for all of us. So we're going to have, even when it's a great play, we might have something where our eyes have to be fixed. So I think you continue just to sharpen that knife. So when it's time for battle, you're going out there and you execute to the best of your abilities.
The fact that it is a new...
Jameis, as you have learned Ken Dorsey's offense, what stands out to you and why is it beneficial for your team?
I think the most beautiful thing about his offense is we are attacking defense laterally and we're attacking defense vertically. And with the lateral game, you're allowed to get your completion percentage up. A lot of his quarterbacks have had high completion percentages, and obviously that's good because completions get on the defense's nerves and it keeps the rhythm and flow of the offense going. So that's been a very exciting part.
I was going to ask, going off of something you said to Scott's question, the fact that it is a new offense for everybody, does that help to kind of feel like, even though you're new in Cleveland, like everyone's on a similar kind of playing field and learning the offense?
I think you could say that. I believe the most important thing is that we get to learn it together, and we get to bring all of our perspectives together, and we get to discuss it, right? Because this is new. It's something that's just getting put in front of us, and we get to have different viewpoints of what is the best way to run this particular route. Like, what should the timing of our footwork be to this route to the left? And I think that is the beautiful part of, again, me having that veteran role in a system where, man, I can really relay a message to these young guys, and these young guys can relay a message to me that I can build off of, and I can take that from them and go and do it on the field as well.
He's about as impressive and as likable as you're going to find. We will paint the picture of what we see at camp coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Training camp is here. The Browns 50-50 raffle is open now. Go to the Browns mobile app or browns5050.com to purchase your tickets and learn more. Get your tickets before kickoff of the Browns and the Packers this Saturday. Take advantage of that early bird pricing. Don't miss your chance to win big while supporting youth in our community. In addition to that, get your Cleveland Browns single game tickets right now for all the great matchups at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/tickets or call 440-891-5050 to purchase today. As we are out there, guys, milling about. We've seen some stuff going on out there, and it looks like they're about ready to get into a little bit of team stuff over there, my friend.
Yeah, they just finished a little 7-on-7 period. The ball's been coming out. We have not – this defense is very loud when they're doing things that they love, that they're very proud of. We haven't heard a lot of hooting and hollering. We saw some nice throws down the field to two young receivers, so I'm actually excited. I'm excited. I talked about our quarterbacks. I also think we're going to have some young receivers. I think we could be prolific. You talk about Landers' ability to get vertical, and I know Gibbe got a chance to talk with him earlier today. You talk about Jalen Darden's ability to get vertical. Yeah. Jamari Thrash has been a very good route runner and has vertical speed. And then Amarian Brown, number 87, he ran a 4.340. So this is another guy that can absolutely fly. And so I think it has a chance to be much more entertaining than a normal preseason second half.
Look, dude, you're going to broadcast it. I'm going to watch it. Everybody who's listening right now is going to watch it. Like it's football.
It's football, baby.
And
it's
Browns.
Cleveland Browns football.
That's right. And so you're going to watch all of it, and you're going to take it all in and enjoy the heck out of it. And those of you who've been out there listening all the way through, these guys through Greenbrier and all of that, like the names that they've been talking about, you're going to go, oh, there's that guy. And so that's all very fun. Those are wins for everybody. We are back tomorrow. The next level is to our right and ready to go. The great Gerard in a spectacular. He's looks like he could have. We were talking about a White Russian. He could have one cocktail right now.
Man.
A little pina colada. Who gets hurt?
He could be sitting in the lounge at Jackie Treehorn's house.
He's comfortable in every situation.
There's no
That's
doubt.
the thing with Gerard.
Yeah.
That's the thing you got to know about that guy.
Exactly.
They're up next. We'll see you tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.